This is not the video that I was expecting to have to make or that I was wanting to make. Um, I had a lot of people writing me yesterday and writing me this morning, so I just wanted to kind of make a video to address what happened. Charlie Kirk, the founder of Turning Point USA, was brutally assassinated. He was shot in the neck while doing a college campus event in Utah, like he always did. He was shot in front of his family. He was shot in front of all of the college kids that were there to listen to him and watch the debate. I've been very vocal on my channel about how I really looked up to Charlie and I really looked up to Turning Point, and I had been trying to, actively try to get meetings with Charlie and work for Turning Point, and that was kind of my goal. He was an incredibly large role model for me, as he was and is to millions of people, especially in Gen Z. He's like the leader as far as being courageous in your faith and being outspoken and being politically active goes. He was just kind of the guy who gave us all the courage to speak out and be active and talk about these kinds of things. I've never been personally upset like this over a public figure dying. It just feels very personal, and I mean, it feels personal for everyone, the millions of people who watched him daily for years. I mean, he was the guy when it came to this. He's like, there's no one else like Charlie Kirk. Like, it's just kind of hard to process. Like, I can't even make sense of what happened and the fact that he's not here anymore and that he's not going to be able to continue doing what he has been doing since he was 18 years old and making the impact here personally himself that he had been making. And then it just feels extra personal on the level that I was greatly blessed to have gotten to meet Charlie. I went to 2 of his events. I went to Young Women's Leadership Summit, where I got to go up and I got to ask him a question, which is something that anyone who's a Charlie Kirk fan, like, you want to go up and ask him a question. That was such a cool thing to get to do. So I got to speak to him and to his wife, Erica, and I watched him do multiple podcasts and little speaking engagements. He did a live debate at one of his events. That was really cool. So I got to watch him do, engagements 5 feet away from me. I got to watch him in action, which was so cool. And then at the last event in Florida, my brother and I got to meet him. A lot of you guys know that story. Got to meet Charlie Kirk. My brother and I kind of squeezed through security when he was leaving a podcast, and his security guys kind of waved us in and they helped us get a photo. And there was just a mob of people. There were hundreds of people that were chasing Charlie, like, please let us get a photo, let us get an autograph, I want to speak to you. There were so many fans there that were trying to get his attention, and so security was trying to get him out of there as quick as possible. My brother and I were getting pushed around by people in the crowd. We were trying so hard just to get to the front. We really wanted to meet him. It was my goal to get to introduce myself and shake his hand because I really wanted to work for him. And so his security helped us kind of squeeze through all the people, and Charlie, even in all of the busyness, with all of those people trying to get to him, Charlie shook our hands. He shook Kaimani's hand. He shook my hand. He talked to us. He let us introduce ourselves. He took a photo with us, and that's just the kind of guy he was. And that was just my brief interaction with him. That was as far as I got to know him on a personal level. But I know so many people who had made friends with him over the years, who had worked with him very closely, so many people who had been impacted by Charlie on a personal level. My feed has just been flooded with people who I didn't even know knew Charlie, being like, Charlie helped me this day, he helped me in this aspect of my career, he prayed with me, he did this and this and this. it's that's just how he was, and then there's so many others that were affected by just the work he did and the way he spread the gospel, and he was outspoken and he encouraged everyone to go out and be strong and courageous in your convictions. Don't be ashamed of Jesus. All of these things, he really, really just kind of led the path for all of the youth of today to go out and try to make the same strides that he did. So for so many people, it just feels super personal. Like I've honestly never been more distraught over something like this. I just like the internet is so toxic too, and there's a lot of negativity I'm seeing right now for people on the other side who are celebrating this, and like I'm trying not to see as much as that as possible. I need to like take a break from social media because it's just so angering. There's also just a lot of people sharing the video of what happened, and I really hope that stops getting shared around on the internet. Like it's different to see something like that with someone you've met or someone that everyone recognizes and knows. Like so many people feel like they knew Charlie because they watched him every day. So like that's kind of what's been bugging me, especially like last night. It was kind of a rough night. Like that part of it's just kind of been bugging me that I saw the video. Just because I met this man, I spoke to him, I shook his hand, and so it's kind of rough to see a video like that of someone you met, to watch someone you met and talked to, and you, again, shook his hand and everything like that, just to kind of watch him die graphically on video, just out of respect for what happened. I don't think the video should be spread around anymore. So that part's been rough. That's kind of one of the bad things about the internet is it takes tragedy and things like that and it makes it just so widely accessible, and it tries to like desensitize you. There's so much graphic content online, and it's clouding your mind to what you should be actually focusing on right now, which is his legacy and his family. I've been praying for his wife Erica and his 2 babies. He's got a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old. Like it doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you are on. It doesn't matter if you loved him or hated him. It doesn't matter. There's still a widow and 2 kids who will never see their dad again. And he died in a way that no one deserves to die. He did not deserve it. And for what? Literally all he ever did was have civil debate and open dialogue with voters in the country. He educated people, he informed people, he encouraged people, he spread the gospel, he called things for what they were. He was fearless and very willing to go speak to people. And he was one of the few people who was very, very respectful in doing that. I loved watching his College Campus videos because it was always disagreements to the front of the line. If you disagreed with him, he wanted to speak to you. And there were so many occasions where someone would go up with a disagreement and he would be like, okay, well, let's figure out what we agree on here first. Like, can we agree on this? They'd be like, okay, we agree on this. And then they would talk about everything else. But a lot of times they would come to a very mutually agreed upon conclusion. And there was like a respectful understanding of, the different sides, perspectives and everything. And it's just so important that we have that kind of dialogue in the country. There's so much division. You need to be able to talk about these kinds of things and speak about these kinds of things. I don't understand how you can hate someone that much for debating, for having an open dialogue and just different opinions as you. It does not matter what side you are on. This is a tragedy, and this is horrific. It should never have happened. There is zero, absolutely zero justification whatsoever for what happened to him. And for some reason, saying that has been deemed controversial online right now. I made a post on Instagram, and even on my post, like I had to block 100 people because people were just writing the worst stuff I had ever seen. Things about his family, things about how he deserved it, laughing faces, and I'm not going to platform that. And if you feel that way, like everyone else is saying, I encourage you to take a long, hard look in the mirror and truly think about the contents of your soul and just your lack of humanity. It's just pretty unreal. And like, political violence is awful. It's horrible. It's unacceptable. It's not what we do in America. But the worst part about this is he wasn't even like a politician. People try to assassinate world leaders. They try to assassinate presidents. They did try to assassinate our president. Charlie wasn't even someone who made decisions. He wasn't a president. I don't understand why him or why he deserved this. All he did was talk to people. All he wanted to do was talk to people, and they shot him for it. And that's such a scary thing. And that is really shaking everyone up who is trying to follow in his footsteps, everyone who wants to make content like he did, everyone who wants to be active and going to campuses and talking to people on the opposite side, everyone who wants to debate and go to protests and like has any political aspirations whatsoever, anyone who just wants to be outspoken. It's a scary thought that they get so angry when you're outspoken and you have a different opinion that they will try to kill you to silence you. You should be able to say not only whatever you want, but you should be able to talk to people and have differing opinions. I have friends who go to protests and they try to talk to people on the other side. I have a lot of friends who go to campuses, even friends who sit at Turning Point booths. I have friends who have been attacked for trying to talk to people. And it's just scary that, that can be met with such violence and that they'll go so far to try to silence us. That's why that you can't let that happen, though. That's why like they don't even know what they just did. They just created a Christian conservative martyr for the youth. They just lit the fire under so many people in an effort to try to silence Charlie and silence his message. They just created 1 million Charlie Kirks. And what he built with Turning Point is so important. So important. He made such a lasting impact when it comes to, getting the youth in church, getting the youth involved in their own personal faith, getting the youth involved on these issues, and making sure everyone has the courage and the confidence to say what they believe in and stand up for their values. He has made such a mark on the world and on the youth. You don't get rid of that. You can kill him, but that doesn't get rid of what he did. And millions of people are going to pick up the torch, pick up the microphone, and continue doing what he did. I could not be more grateful to be involved, to have gotten the opportunity to meet him, and to speak to him and witness firsthand on a personal level the care he put into speaking to people and making time for people. I briefly met you, but I'm never going to forget that. And I'm never going to back down when it comes to doing this, because I think everyone my age who has the same aspirations feels the same way. Like, do it for Charlie. Continue on with his mission and Turning Point's mission. Keep being outspoken. Keep being strong. Be courageous. Have confidence. Go out there. Do not coward. I think it's incredibly important. And first and foremost, put Jesus at the center of all of this. It's good versus evil when it comes to things like this, and good will prevail because we have the Lord on our side. I want to play a podcast clip from 2 months ago. 2 months ago. That's just really important now.
Be remembered. I mean, if I die, everything just goes away. How would you, if you could be associated with one thing, how would you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. The most important thing is my faith in my life.
That's just such a great clip to have now. He told us exactly how he wants to be remembered, and he will be remembered by his fruit. I mean, that's what he was. He was courageous in his faith, and he was an advocate for Jesus Christ. He was an advocate for Christian families and Christian values and implicating Christian values in every aspect of our society. I hope that my generation can continue with his mission and honoring his legacy, and first and foremost, putting Christ at the center of all of this, and remembering Charlie for what a strong advocate and loyal, humble servant he was for Christ and the Lord's work. So instead of slandering a father, a 31-year-old father and husband who was brutally assassinated publicly and in front of his family, posted all over the world, all over the internet for the world to see, instead of slandering that man because you disagreed with his opinions, I hope that these are the kinds of things that we can share instead, to just remember the kind of man Charlie was, and all of the ways he encouraged the youth and started a movement and has put faith and Christian values back into the hearts and minds of the youth. He has encouraged us to be courageous and go out and be active. He is such a strong role model for so many people, tens of millions of people. Tens of millions of people are grieving together right now, weeping alongside Erica, his wife, and his children, and everyone who loved him and worked with him. I'm just really glad that I got the opportunity to meet him and to shake his hand and talk to him and ask him a question. I will forever be grateful for that. I got to go to his very last event that he would ever throw a Turning Point. And I mean, I'm heartbroken. So many people are. But this is not home. Charlie, just like all of us, are not flesh and blood. You can kill the body, but you can't kill him. You can't kill his message. And he is receiving his heavenly rewards. And I just pray that we remember him the way that he wants to be remembered. And we pray for his wife and his kids. And that my generation continues to do his work. I'm seeing so many tributes online and so many people just posting things about, you know what, he was a godly man and he's doing okay right now. I saw President Trump is awarding Charlie Kirk with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And so many people are saying that they are just going to continue to try to go around campuses and talk to people in honor of Charlie. And I think that is absolutely fantastic. So this is a very devastating period of time for tens of millions of people and in American history. Getting killed for speaking to voters, for having an open, respectful dialogue with people, for trying to keep the conversations going between both sides of the political spectrum. Getting murdered for that is just, it's pretty gut-wrenching. It's hard to understand or process. It's hard to process the fact that he's gone, or that, like, even in my own personal life, that I never will get a further chance to speak with him, because, I mean, he was a role model, and I think I ended my last video I did, where I went to a Turning Point event. I ended it with, I'm going to get a meeting with Charlie one of these events. I had plans. I was gonna talk to him more. I just really wanted to, like, sit down with him. And I'm so grateful that I got the chance to meet him and speak to him on multiple occasions. And yeah, just want to say rest easy, Charlie, and prayers to his family. I encourage everyone to pray for his family. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who was concerned about how my family was taking the news, or how I was taking the news. Thank you for reaching out. I wanted to make sure that I updated you guys. And all we can really do is just continue doing what he would have wanted us to do, and not cower, and pray for his family. Rest easy, Charlie.